The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? If you missed the Donald Trump AI rap diss on Kamala Harris, you can find it on my page, at Chris Hand on Air on Twitter. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. We'll play it a little while later, in a little while again. Mason is moving this week, said he needs a pick-me-up. So we're gonna provide that for him.
Lay it on me. I'm ready.
We will. And you're off tomorrow. I knew there was an issue letting Mac train you to be the producer.
Listen. I'm doing all right on every other avenue, right?
We're
all right,
you're doing great. You're doing great.
I'll take off as many days as I can.
Well, we got a lot to get into today. A lot. Did you see that banger of a Kamala Harris rally / Megan Thee Stallion rap concert?
I didn't, but banger is not a word that I thought would.
I heard about it. There's a video going around of an elderly woman in the front row while Megan Thee Stallion is rapping. And I just feel like somebody needed to escort her out of there.
Man, whiplash from
this is not for you. You know, you have Megan Thee Stallion twerking. She's twerking that thing, as the kids like to say. She was twerking that thing, and this poor old woman is like, this is not the Democratic Party I remember. It's
the John Travolta from Pulp Fiction.
He's literally this poor woman. She's like, help me, I'm scared.
This what?
You need to see the video of this poor lady's face. It's also on my Twitter, at Chris And on Air. Savannah Hernandez, friend of the show, great lady, awesome investigative journalist. She sat through the entire Kamala Harris rally. Now, I'm trying to get her on the show today. There's a possibility that we're going to be able to catch Savannah in between flights during her layover at 9:35. It's a possibility. Sav said she's going to try and make it work. I told her that would be a blessing, and if she can make it work, we're going to talk to her at 9:35 to really get the inside feel on what was going on there. Because honestly, what was going on there? Oh my gosh! So they had a rap concert. Megan Thee Stallion and Quavo of the group Migos was there. Side note, I do know the Migos guys. My wife worked for Capitol Records for a while. She helped push some of those records for hip hop stations.
Oh, you know the Migos?
We know the Migos.
You know the Migos?
Quavo got dragged in his comments.
Really?
Did you see this?
Lay it on me.
So on Instagram, this rapper posted that he was at the rally. He posted a picture, and when I say he got cooked, he got cooked. So there's another member of the group that was murdered, and people were pointing out that member of the group would have never done something like this in the comments. It's like, yikes. And it's not just like a few. It is the entire comment section.
Holy cow.
People are saying, you're canceled, dude. I think it's like 1,500 likes. Somebody said disappointed in you, 6,000 likes. Kamala got to you. Damn, bro. What'd she pay you? 10,000 likes.
I thought you were going to say $10,000, and I was like, that's slow.
Somebody wrote Trump 2024 button. That got like 15,000 likes. You're canceled. How much did they pay you to say this? Trump 2024. Kamala is not the one for the job. Not even a little bit. Not even at all. These are in his comment. These are people that follow him. To say it's backfiring, it feels like it's backfiring bigly, as the Donald would say. And people went for a rap concert. I don't know if you've seen the video, and I'll let Savannah Hernandez speak to it a little bit more if she makes it on the show during her layover, flying back from that train wreck of a rally. She said after Kamala started speaking, and this video has been going viral, after Kamala started speaking, people started walking out. They started leaving. Has that ever happened at a Donald Trump rally? Nope. She should be embarrassed. I also heard that the venue only held around 8,000. I'm hearing that it was 8 to 10,000 people at this venue. So it was an overflow crowd for a Trump rally. Massive. Great job. And they're there for a free Megan Thee Stallion concert. Also, I heard that there were 1,000 plus online influencers that were being paid to be there. You heard me correctly. 1,000 plus influencers were paid $500 each, with a $150 bonus for holding a sign and a $250 bonus if they are interviewed supporting the cackling communist, as one Twitter user pointed out.
Is $500 worth it enough to go stand in a crowd for Kamala Harris?
Is $500 worth it enough to sell your soul to the Democrat Party and sell out your country and sell out your neighbors and your communities? They only care about black votes once every 4 years. Once every 4 years. What has Kamala Harris and Joe Biden done for the black community? Well, they put on a free Megan Thee Stallion concert, so that was pretty based. So, again, I don't think a lot of people would have been there if it wasn't for the free concerts and the money. Just me. Poor Savannah Hernandez had to sit through that entire thing.
Obviously.
I feel so bad for her. I feel terrible.
What a champ. I appreciate her in every way.
I think she might have some PTSD.
I wouldn't blame her.
I think. And Kamala, a lot of people are pointing this out. She had a weird fake Southern accent in Georgia. Did you hear this?
And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024.
I do say.
I do declare.
I do declare the fine state of Georgia. What is she doing? Pandering levels that we have never seen before from the Democrat Party. Like, I thought Hillary Clinton being like, well, I got some hot sauce right here in my purse, Charlemagne, was pretty bad. But this is, I do declare, the great state of Georgia.
In 2024.
And the SEALs, they clap.
Well, they're trained to only do a few tricks.
Yeah, fair. This is fair. They'll do anything for the fish. All right, so she started out by shouting out election denier Stacey Abrams. Who wouldn't want to shout out a twice failed candidate in election denier Stacey Abrams?
And thank you to the great Stacey Abrams for your extraordinary leadership.
I do declare the biggest loser in Georgia. And then she said she's gonna put her record up against Trump's any day of the week.
So in this campaign, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week. Any day of the week. Including, for example, on the issue of immigration.
Whoa, all right, let's do it. Let's do the issue of immigration. 94 executive orders reversing every Trump-era border policy. Have you ever been to the border, Kamala? Like that one time when they cleaned it up for you? What a joke. Especially on immigration. Now, listen, this is a weird angle that they're taking. They're actually trying to say that Kamala is good on immigration. This is what they're saying. Listen to this new Kamala Harris ad, okay? And tell me if this doesn't infuriate you, because it infuriates me. And they really do believe that you're stupid and their voters are stupid. Listen to this new Kamala ad.
On the border, the choice is simple. Kamala Harris supports increasing the number of Border Patrol agents. Donald Trump blocked a bill to increase the number of Border Patrol agents.
Kamala Harris wants more people to expedite the parole process.
Kamala Harris supports investing in new technology to block fentanyl from entering the country. Donald Trump blocked funding for technology to block fentanyl from entering the country.
Kamala Harris and Joe Biden sued Texas to remove razor wire. They sued Texas to remove the buoys in the water, which I will point out, and we'll get to it in a little bit. A Texas federal court has ruled that the buoys are back. The buoys are back. Kamala Harris and the Joe Biden administration also sued Arizona to remove their shipping container wall. Kamala supports new technology.
Kamala Harris supports spending more money to stop human traffickers. Donald Trump blocked money to stop human traffickers.
Human trafficking has exploded under the Biden-Harris administration. For them to blatantly lie to you like that is disgusting. Disgusting. Human trafficking has become one of the most profitable industries in America under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris prosecuted transnational gang members and got them sentenced to prison. Trump is trying to avoid being sentenced to prison.
We're locking up our political opponents. Kamala, I'm with her.
There's two choices in this election. The one who will fix our broken immigration system and the one who's trying to stop her.
Any day of the week, Kamala Harris will put her immigration record up against Donald Trump's. Any day of the week, because that's how good the record is. Also, they're trying to untether Kamala from Joe Biden's record, which is fantastic, mind you. And he did more in one term. He did more in one term than most presidents can do in two. And then he heroically quit. And any day of the week, Kamala Harris she's willing and ready to go record for record, mano a mano with Donald Trump. Any day of the week. All right. Let's get back to Kamala Harris in the great state of Georgia. She has this weird accent, and she's putting on the fake foghorn leghorn thing for the Southerners, and she says she's for a future essentially where everyone can thrive.
We believe in a future where every person has the opportunity to build a business, to own a home, to build intergenerational wealth. A future with affordable health care, affordable child care.
She believes in that. She also likes the smell of her own farts. I don't know. This is just what I've heard. Homeownership has gotten insane under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. In fact, many Americans don't believe that they can even live the American dream. She also says you want to be able to build a business. Okay. Under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, that has been increasingly difficult. In fact, businesses have been closing at a higher clip. She says that she wants you to be able to build intergenerational wealth. That's how she put it, intergenerational wealth. Well, the taxes on that have been raising. Do you really think that she wants you to build that? No. She's lying, and she's gaslighting, like the Democrats often do. If they'll pee on your leg and tell you it's raining. They sure will. I got more audio from Kamala Harris in the great state of Georgia coming up. It's 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
All right, still got that road work. The left lane is blocked. This is the off-ramp from 24 eastbound to go eastbound 40 there at the split. Fed meeting wraps up today. What will it mean for interest rates? We'll tell you at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Johnny, rosin up your bow and play your fiddle hard, 'cause hell's broke loose in Georgia and the devil.
$9:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're talking about the devil who went down to Georgia yesterday. Kamala Harris. I went to a Megan Thee Stallion concert and a political rally broke out. It was the weirdest thing, so I left. That's what most of the people in attendance said. She was on one yesterday. She did have some moments of truth, though. I know. So weird.
No.
I know. I don't want to parrot the Democrat talking points, but I was saying weird before them. This is weird. Kamala Harris does admit prices are too high. She admits that.
No.
And who do we blame for that? And how do we get those prices back down? Well, if gas prices continue to go up, those prices aren't going to fall. And Kamala Harris is on record saying no fracking, no drilling. She doesn't want any of that. She also went in and pushed gun control. Classic. Just, you know what? At a concert like that, you just got to play the hits.
We who believe in the freedom to live safe from gun violence will finally pass universal background checks, red flag laws, and an assault weapons ban.
I say to the great fine people of Georgia, we're going to ban them assault weapons. Yeah. It's Kamala Harris, everybody. And then she pushed, she had a little truth there. She made the prices are high. She went back to the hits. She said gun control. And then she went back to hoaxes. And she said, this is, it's predictable at this point. But she says Trump backed out of the debate.
You may have noticed. So last week, you may have seen, he pulled out of the debate in September he had previously agreed to.
The one he agreed to with Joe Biden, who actually got some votes from Democrats.
So here's the thing. Here's the funny thing about that. So he won't debate, but he and his running mate sure seem to have a lot to say about me.
Yeah, I think everybody has a lot to say about you. It's easy. It's actually easy. The receipts are there. I did notice while I was watching this, she really, really held back from the laugh. The entire night, she really held back from the laugh. And I thought that's odd, because usually it's like a nervous tick with her. She can't help but do the awkward laugh. Every time. Well, it reminded me of what Trump said in the Laura Ingraham interview yesterday. Actually 2 days ago. He said that Kamala got rid of the laugh. He said that. Do you remember? This is him talking about Kamala getting rid of the laugh.
Now, she's trying to come back. She got rid of the laugh. I noticed I haven't seen that crazy laugh that she got. She's crazy. That laugh, that's the laugh of a crazy person. But I noticed that she's not using that laugh anymore. Somebody convinced her, don't laugh. Just don't laugh. Don't laugh under any circumstances, because
I like laughter, but sometimes.
Not her laughter.
No, not her laughter at all. I did just get word from Savannah Hernandez. She is not going to make the show. Her flights have been delayed. She's boarding now. So we'll try and schedule an interview with her come tomorrow to kind of get the insight on what was happening at the Kamala Harris rally live and in person. Right now, Ken Weaver's got the latest headlines on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we are tracking the potential for yet more isolated severe thunderstorms. Full forecast in 2 minutes. War on terror. The political leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, is dead. So is a top Hezbollah official, Fuad Shakur. But Israel is not commenting on the Hamas assassination. Matt Gutman reports that happened during an explosion in a Tehran neighborhood.
This assassination has absolutely stunned this region, an attack killing the political leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, right in Tehran. He was in Iran for the inauguration of its new president over the weekend. He was under their security protection. Israel not directly taking responsibility for this killing, but Iran blaming Israel nonetheless.
Something we're watching today, the Federal Reserve Board meeting to announce its latest interest rate decision. Fed Chair Jerome Powell could signal that long-awaited interest rate cut is on the horizon, possibly as soon as September. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Yeah, and I think that we should send our condolences to Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib during this difficult time after that much publicized death. You know, they're probably dealing with it pretty hard. It's 9:32 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris, and I got to tell you about my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. I tell you about them all the time, but you really got to pay attention. Today is your last day to get a fantastic deal. Buy one, get one for you and somebody in your neighborhood for the Beehive Club membership. It is so much value, and you're going to get it even better deal today. It's your last day. They've been doing it all month of July. The Beehive Club membership is 3 annual tune-ups, one for your heating, one for your cooling, one for your plumbing, 10% discount on all repairs, priority front-of-the-line service, a $100 annual accrued replacement credit with a maximum of $1,000, no overtime or holiday fees, and instantly. But it's going to pay for itself even quicker if you act now, because today is your last day to get a buy one, get one deal on the Beehive Club membership for you and someone in your neighborhood. So call Busy Bee today and take advantage of that deal. Busy Bee is your Rude Pro partner, and they will guarantee you're going to be satisfied. Call Busy Bee today, 615-775-7833. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833. Online at busybeehvac.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
But you see, this is a people-powered campaign. Ours is a people-powered campaign.
That was Kamala Harris yesterday in the great state of Georgia. Super Talk 99.7 WTN 938. It's a people-powered campaign. It's powered by the people that are flying over the southern border as they leave it wide open under the Biden-Harris administration. Well, the coronation's complete. It's just Harris. Yikes.
It's unfortunate.
So they're saying it's official. Vice President Kamala Harris will be the only candidate on the Democrat National Committee virtual roll call ballot for president after her shocking rise to become the party's standard bearer. Is that what we should say? Is she? Yeah, maybe.
I just don't know.
Maybe. Bless her heart. Bless her heart.
Bless her heart.
In my best Southern accent. You filter in the Southern accent. Bless her heart.
I do declare.
Her unchallenged solo position comes after the elites in the party cooed Joe Biden and installed her unopposed as the presumptive candidate in the 2024 race. So it's Kamala. Mamala, if you will. Mamala. She's going to hold another rally next week. No word yet on which rappers they're going to use to draw people in. It's going to be in Philly. They're not going to be able to call Meek Mill. He's a Trump guy.
Yeah, he's very much.
Yeah, so if you don't know rap, it went over your head, but that's okay. Just trust me. So she's set to have another rally in Philadelphia Tuesday, and Harris is expected to hold that rally with the VP choice. Yeah. All of this before she's received a single vote from any American. So, I don't know. You excited about that? I don't even think the people that are in contention to be VP are excited about that. It's just like, please don't pick me. I think that's like the collective, please don't pick me. Now, there's been some buzz, though. There's been some buzz that it's going to be one of these governors, either Josh Shapiro or Beshear or J.B. Pritzker or maybe Whitmer. And Harris has said she's not chosen running mate yet. But on Tuesday, when asked by reporters if she knew who she would choose, she said not yet. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is also in contention with that. She had that rally last night. It's interesting to watch what's happening. Now, who do the Democrats want Harris to choose? The top contenders again, Kentucky's Governor Andy Beshear. I think that's the smartest choice. I wonder if Andy Beshear is dumb enough to take the gig. But I think that if you're looking at counter-programming J.D. Vance in the Rust Belt, Andy Beshear is the guy. It has to be. The other ones, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, who is rumored to have been the Obama's choice for the presidential candidate, Michigan Senator Gary Peters, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and then Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg. I'm gonna go on record now. If Pete Buttigieg ends up being the VP choice, it's because everyone else turned her down. Guaranteed, full stop. And a lot of the Democrats are pointing out that despite all the differences between the candidates, they do have a couple things in common. They're all white and male. Anything but that. Please. Beshear, Shapiro, Walz, they bring high-level executive experience to the role. And they have huge name recognition in their own respective states, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Minnesota. Mark Kelly is a well-known former astronaut who has Senate experience under his belt after being elected in 2020. Democrats need to win those states. They need to win those states if they have any hope of securing the White House and down-ballot races. So the decision on who will join Harris on the ticket, that's expected to come by Tuesday. But who did Democrats want to see at the top of the ticket with Kamala? Both Kelly and Peters would be great, said Virginia Democrat Senator Tim Kaine, who learned firsthand that if you lose next to a Democrat as VP, you're never going to have another shot. Tim Kaine is never going to have another shot at VP. He's never going to have a shot at president. He has reached his ceiling. And I wonder if a lot of these guys are looking at Tim Kaine and going, I don't want to reach my ceiling with Kamala Harris. Kaine went on to say that Harris has a multitude of great options, but that she will have to hone in on the one who she feels the chemistry with and who can secure support in battleground states. Why are they worried about chemistry? Was there any chemistry between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? Asking for a friend. Is there any chemistry between them? I mean, Kamala spent the primaries calling Joe Biden an old racist and then quickly said, we did it, Joe, as soon as they won. Is chemistry a big deal? Do you think chemistry is a big deal? Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and how often they're even seeing each other. And it's actually not happening a lot at all.
Last night, the president said he's been talking to the vice president about her potential running mate. Could you just explain how often they've been talking to each other and when's the last time they spoke?
So I'm going to be super careful, not going to speak to the running mate or anything like that. I'm not going to go beyond what the president shared. What I can say is, and I have said this before, the president and the vice president talk regularly. They actually spoke about a day or two ago. They stay in touch, and that's going to continue as they not just because obviously the vice president is running, but that's going to continue because, as I said, she's a critical partner in what they do, but they do speak regularly.
She's a critical partner in what they do. I've said this before, and I do think Republicans need to clip something like this for an ad because they're going to try desperately to untether Kamala Harris from what we're being told is the amazing record of Joe Biden. It's an amazing record. He did so much in one term that other presidents couldn't get done in two. And at the same time, we can't blame Kamala. Well, I think that Republicans need to clip this. Karine Jean-Pierre says clearly she is a critical partner in what we do.
Obviously, the vice president is running, but that's going to continue because, as I said, she's a critical partner in what they do.
She's a critical partner in what they do. Critical partner in what they do. And when it comes to ads, I do think that the Pennsylvania Senate race, this is one that the Republicans need to mirror because Dave McCormick, who's running for senator against a Democrat named Bob Casey, he's been putting out these bangers of ads going after Kamala Harris and tying his opponent Bob Casey to her. And I think whoever's cutting these up, whoever's in the production room for Dave McCormick needs to be hired by the RNC because these ads are absolutely fantastic.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
These are God's children. These aren't just throwaways.
Your immigrant status, whatever it is, does not in our mind's eye designate you as a criminal. I support our sanctuary law. Abolish ICE. And we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
It is wrong to deport 11 million people.
Deal with the problem. We have 11 million people here who need a pathway to citizenship.
Finally fixing our system so that we can give people a path to citizenship.
I am not for a wall.
A wall should not be confused with border security.
To suggest that we have to build a wall because there are terrorists who are trying to invade the country. It couldn't be farther from the truth.
Raise your hand if you think it should be a civil offense rather than a crime to cross a border.
Is the situation to any degree a result of signaling from the Biden administration?
No, the answer is no. Kamala Harris is inspiring.
And yeah, I am radical. I do believe that we need to get radical.
She's prepared right now to do this job. She's prepared to be commander-in-chief.
And yeah, I am radical. We need to get radical.
Unbelievable job by the Dave McCormick team. Again, McCormick is running for Senate in Pennsylvania, and he's running these ads tying his opponent to Kamala Harris, and the RNC needs to find his editor. They need to find the guys that are doing this and use that to retie Kamala Harris back to Joe Biden, because she said in that rally last night in the great state of Georgia that, she'll put her record up against Donald Trump's any day of the week, especially when it comes to immigration. So, do it. Do it. Her record's terrible. She said we don't need a wall to stop terrorists, but under Joe Biden, under Kamala Harris, we've seen terrorists coming into the country at a far greater rate than anything under Donald Trump. anything under Donald Trump and probably Obama and Bush combined. It's been insane. It's been insane. We don't need a wall. We don't need a wall. Build bridges, not walls. I'm Kamala Harris. I mean, this is what they do. They need to use this guy. Find out who edited that ad. Somebody tell them, please. Please, because it's fantastic. We need more of that. We do. So the big question is, who is going to be the VP? Tim Kaine thinks J.B. Pritzker would be great. Though Illinois Governor Pritzker was her first choice, it could be one of her first choices. Tim Walz could also be really good. It's interesting. I still think the smart choice is Andy Beshear. I do. But we'll find out soon enough. There was one name that got floated around, which I hadn't heard before, which I thought was weird. A name that I hadn't heard floated was Gina Raimondo. Do you remember Gina Raimondo? She's the Commerce Secretary that was hacked by the Chinese and had a bunch of data leak. They've said that she would be a good pick for Kamala Harris. I don't see that one bit. Not one bit. But we'll find out. We'll find out come Tuesday when she has a rally in Philadelphia. We'll let you know who is going to be performing. They're going to have a few other acts there because nobody's going to come see Kamala Harris on her own. And the Democrats are worried. They're worried that Donald Trump could overpower Harris in blue wall states. We'll tell you that story on the way. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at the Glock Store. You know the guys at the Glock Store, the absolute best, and they can answer all your questions when it comes to anything Glock related, whether it's the firearm or the performance parts. They have all the answers for you at the Glock Store, and they can answer any question you may have at the Genius Bar in the back of the store. It essentially looks like a Mac store for guns. You know, when you go in and you have a question for your computer, and they got the Geniuses. Well, they have that at the Glock Store, except they're much more stable Geniuses, and they know everything about firearms. And they'll tell you what performance parts you need. And when you get the performance parts at the Glock Store, they'll install them for free while you wait. It's incredible what they're doing there. And once you get your gun the way you need it, you got to train, right? You want to train in a real-life scenario or you want to train in a range? Obviously, you want to train in a real-life scenario. Well, you do that at the Shoot 270 indoor ranges. I've had the pleasure of training in these ranges, and I've never seen anything like it. And they have all sorts of training. So one of the rooms it's just an open room with a private instructor. You're in there. You're doing your thing. It's awesome. Then you do that a few times, and you graduate up to the low-light, no-light training, where you'll learn how to clear a room in the dark. It's fantastic. It's realistic. It's only at the Glock Store. So why would you go anywhere else? Stop by the Glock Store, talk to the people, check out the shooting rooms. It'll be your new favorite place to be. It's the Glock Store, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
All right, traffic problems. Got a 20-minute delay. Looks like the off-ramp left lane is blocked from 24 eastbound to go eastbound 40 there at the split. And then you got an overturned vehicle blocking the left 3 lanes of 24 westbound at Bell Road in South Nashville. Impact weather potential, terrorist leaders assassinated, Boar's Head listeria outbreak expanded, and we've got the Fed interest rate cut announcement coming up. Details at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Man, Ken Weaver, we got you busy back there.
A whole bunch of news.
Unreal. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 9:58. My name is Chris Hand. So Savannah Hernandez was at the Kamala Harris rally last night, and she took a video that's been going viral. After the Megan Thee Stallion concert ended, Kamala came up and she spoke for about 17 minutes. And about 5 minutes into that, people were like, yeah, I've seen enough. I'm going to leave.
Yep.
And they started walking out. So Savannah took this video. It's been going viral. And the Tolerant Left sent her a message. She just posted this on Twitter. You want to hear what the Tolerant Left said to her? About the video?
Oh, boy.
It said, you effing illegal A mutt.
Wow.
Trump don't even like y'all wetback dumb A's. That's why he's still building that damn wall to keep y'all wetback A's the F out my country. Y'all come to my effing country, think y'all run S, and you don't. Take your sorry BCA, I'll let you figure that out, back to where the F your hideous creature looking illegal A came from. The Tolerant Left, everybody. You shine a light on something and they recoil. Yeah. They don't know what to do. So Savannah said, the question now is, do you put hideous creature looking illegal A in her bio or not? I said, you have to do it. You have to do it. It's funny. They're all walking out minutes after Kamala starts speaking because they weren't there for her. And I mentioned this earlier. I got the best text from 7691. They said, they wouldn't walk out of a Trump rally.
Right.
Nobody would.
No.
And 7691 texted in and said, they didn't even walk out when gunfire started.
Right. Right. Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's good that Savannah was there because the mainstream's not going to tell you what was actually going down.
No, and it's also why we're so lucky to have Twitter right now, because we can debunk lies in real time.
Mm-hmm.
You got to watch that video. Find it on my Twitter, at Chris Hand on Air. Also, on the way, I do want to play that AI Trump again. Should we play AI Trump after the news?
That's the best one I've heard so far.
It's pretty good. And Mason didn't hear it. He said he needed to pick me up because he's been packing and getting ready to move. We need to up the energy. So we'll do that after Ken's newscast on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ten o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, tracking what could be more impact weather in Middle Tennessee today. Channel 4 reporting 4 firefighters were hurt in Nolensville last night, fighting flames in a possible lightning-caused house fire. And News 2 was in Putnam County yesterday, where a woman says a tree caved in her roof.
And my living room collapsed. Had I been in that living room, it would have killed me instantly.
And in Murfreesboro, residents cleaning up after that EF0 tornado was confirmed to have touched down on Monday. Heat and humidity today going to create 105 to 110 degree heat indices. Got the full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Right now in the Middle East, Iran's president is vowing to make Israel regret what he calls cowardly action, blaming Israel for the assassination of Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh. Still no comment from Israel on Haniyeh. Al Jazeera reporting that Iran's delegation to the UN posted on X saying that the response to an assassination will indeed be special operations harder and intended to instill deep regret in the perpetrator. Now, this comes after Israel does say it killed Hezbollah's top military commander, Fuad Shukr, in an airstrike on southern Beirut. And Boar's Head issuing an expanded recall of more than 7 million pounds of deli meats as officials continue to search for answers in the ongoing listeria outbreak that has killed 2 people and sickened nearly 3 dozen others.
The new Boar's Head recall includes 71 products under the Boar's Head and Old Country brands. It follows an earlier recall of more than 200,000 pounds of sliced deli poultry and meat, including liverwurst, ham, salami, bologna, and other products made at the company's Virginia plant.
That's Rhiannon Alley reporting, and the Fed wraps up its latest meeting today. We're waiting to hear what it plans to do about interest rates. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
.05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, I'm Chris Hand. Hope you're doing great. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on air. We've been talking about Savannah Hernandez, who was live at the Kamala Harris rally last night. Everything's going viral that she shot. It always does. Now, I will say this. I do want to, let's be realistic. Was there some energy for Kamala Harris? Yes. Were there people there excited to see her? Yes. Was there a large group of people that left when she started talking? Yes. Yes. And, you know, she talked out both sides of her mouth, as she usually does. She said that she would put her record up against Trump's any day of the week, especially on immigration. And I missed this earlier, and I apologize, but I drew a blank. She brags about immigration in the same state where Laken Riley was tortured, raped, and murdered by an illegal alien. Tone deaf much? I mean, that's the result of your policy. Insane. So Savannah Hernandez, she put out a video. You can find it on my Twitter page, at Chris Hand on Air. Follow Sav. She's awesome. And they're mad at her for putting out the video. The tolerant left is striking again, calling her an illegal alien, a wetback, all these things. It's like, I thought we were going with newcomers. I don't know. I Are we back to illegal aliens? Is that okay again? I guess so.
Only when it doesn't fit their agenda, of
right?
course.
It's wild. It's wild. I also did want to point out one thing, and I know the guy lives in the area. Dom Lucre on Twitter. Do you follow Dom Lucre on Twitter?
I don't use Twitter.
So, Dom Lucre, you should get on Twitter. People would follow you.
I believe it. I have nothing important to say.
All right, yeah, whatever. then don't say anything important over there. All right, so
listen.
So
No,
Dom
your mic's
Lucre.
off. Hold on.
So Dom Lucre's on Twitter, and he jacked the video from Savannah Hernandez and gave her no credit, and he gets monetized based on Twitter engagement, and that's just like one of the slimiest things.
That's messed up.
It's really slimy, and Sav gets on a plane and flies across the country to go sit through this rally and have her ears bleed because of Megan Thee Stallion and Kamala Harris. And this guy just takes the content and runs with it and then gets paid off engagement. So follow Sav, not Dom, if you want to see that stuff first.
It's just lazy.
Very lazy. Little personal. I'm friends with Sav, and I think that's just terrible. Terrible. I don't like that stuff. So I just want to put that out there in case Dom's listening. I know he lives in the area. Stop stealing people's content. As we continue, I did want to get young Mason to pick me up. He didn't hear this on the Gang of Amigos.
I'm ready.
Are you sure you're ready?
It's you laughed at it and you said it was a funny Trump AI. I think I got a good idea, but I don't know if I'm
okay. So Hi-Rez the rapper is the guy that makes these.
Yeah.
And Hi-Rez is awesome. Like super talented.
Yeah.
And he'll write these raps in a Trump voice, and then he runs it through the AI, and it comes out as Trump. And he made one that's a Kamala Harris diss to Tupac's "Hit 'Em Up."
Oh wow!
All right, so we'll play this.
Wow.
There's a whole video that goes with it too.
That's incredible.
And I know people on the stream are saying they can't hear it. I apologize.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
If you jump over to my Twitter at Chris Hand on Air, you can watch the whole video from Hi-Rez, the rapper. There's a whole visual.
Yeah, I'm definitely bumping that on the way home. That's great.
So funny.
That's so good.
It's so funny. So the left can't meme. The right just likes to have fun and laugh. And Kamala Harris really pulls out all the stops to have people show up at her rally. J.D. Vance, on the other hand, doesn't need to pull out any stops to have people at his rally. J.D. Vance had a huge crowd last night in Nevada, and he talks about stuff that voters want to talk about. I mean, a shocker, right? And he runs through the issues. And I like J.D. Vance a lot. I've liked J.D. Vance for a while. I always thought he was going to be the VP pick. I thought he was a good choice. My dream pick was Tucker Carlson, but I like J.D. Vance. But he talks about the difference in the vision between Harris and Trump and how clear that difference is.
Let's just talk about the contrast between not just these two visions, but 4 years of Kamala Harris's governance and 4 years of Donald Trump's. Kamala Harris's vision is open American borders and closed American factories.
Yep.
It's bigger government that tells you how to live your life and smaller family bank accounts. It's war and chaos all over the world while American citizens pray for peace.
Yep, honestly.
Kamala Harris would be the most anti-American energy president that we have ever had. She's pledged to ban fracking. It's on video. You can go look it up. She's vowed to end offshore drilling. She co-sponsored the Green New scam. So when you fill up your tank at the gas station, maybe you should send a bill to Kamala Harris.
Yeah, Scamala. She's a big fan of the Green New scam. Kamala Harris. Kamala. JD's right. The difference is clear. And the economy under Biden-Harris is killing middle Americans, middle class, every day. We can't afford anything. I know you feel it. I feel it too. And the affordability crisis is from Biden-Harris. You can't divorce her from that record.
Make no mistake, the affordability crisis that Kamala Harris created is destroying the middle class in this country. It is the biggest concern American families have.
Yep.
President Trump, by contrast, built the strongest economy in history, and the formula was pure common sense. He delivered a giant tax cut for hardworking families, and we're going to make it permanent.
No bells, no whistles, no concert, no Megan Thee Stallion, just talking about the issues. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. And the left, they're focused on talking points and personal attacks. They say, oh, J.D. Vance with the cat lady comment, oh, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. But you look at the party of democracy, and they don't care about the votes of their voters. 14 million people voted for Joe Biden. They don't care. They don't care at all. Look at Kamala Harris being anointed as the savior of the Democrat Party.
After 14 million Democrats voted for Joe Biden in the primary, now the Democrat Party bosses believed his poll numbers were too bad, and they're going to install Kamala Harris as their new nominee, a person who has not received a single vote for president. And the media calls it a coronation. I think we ought to call it a coup.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
In America, we don't crown our leaders, we vote for them. And remember, in the 2020 primary, Kamala Harris dropped out before the first vote was cast. She was so unpopular that she polled in the low single digits, even among Democrats, her entire campaign.
Oh, weird.
She didn't get in the top 3 in her home state of California. And the reason is Democrat voters know that the American people would never elect a San Francisco liberal so far outside the mainstream. And I think we ought to give the Democrats credit where it's due. The American people will never elect a wacky, out-of-touch liberal like Kamala Harris. We're just not going to do it.
No, and this is why the VP pick is going to be so important to the Democrats. A lot of the Democrat strategists and thought leaders, if you will, if you want to call them thought leaders, the elites, they acknowledge Kamala can't talk to the middle class. She talks to California liberals. They know that. Nobody in middle America relates to Kamala Harris. And furthermore, everyone knows that she's been part of the biggest cover-up in the history of the country, which is Joe Biden's mental decline.
500,000 kids. This is the toll of her leadership.
Oh, sorry. Hang on one second. Wrong clip. This one.
The world knows that she helped cover up Joe Biden's mental incapacity and decline over the last 3.5 years. It's the biggest scandal, it may be in the history of this country. For 3.5 years, our country has been saddled with a president who cannot do the job. Now, we all see it, and we all watched it, and it's hard not to feel sad for him, but you got to feel sadder for the country that has suffered under that leadership. But America's adversaries have been licking their chops because imagine if we saw it for 3.5 years in public, how bad was it in private?
Yep.
And every single Democrat in leadership, including Kamala Harris, they covered up for Biden's incompetence. And if you're too dumb to realize that Biden couldn't do the job, or more likely, if you're too dishonest to admit it, you are not fit to be commander-in-chief.
Amen. Amen. And they lied to us for so long. He's sharp as a tack. He's running circles around us behind the scenes. In private, oh, man. Smartest guy we know. How many years do we deal with that? This has been apparent since 2020. But, you know, what do I know? What do I know? I'm just a humble meme farmer. I don't know anything, you know. They would call me a MAGA cultist if I observe things with my own eyes and I use pattern recognition, and I'm just a mean old bigot and sexist because Kamala is the most qualified, right? And she had the audacity in Georgia to say, I'll put my immigration record up against Donald Trump's in Georgia, the home of Lake and Riley. Or Lincoln Riley, as the declining resident-in-chief likes to say. They ruined the border. And J.D. Vance makes this point.
They stopped building the wall. They reinstated catch and release. That's how every state became a border state. They just released them all over our country. Sometimes they give them first-class tickets wherever they need to go, and first-class hotel accommodations paid for by the very people in this room.
I've seen the first-class tickets myself on flights back from Phoenix.
And if that wasn't bad enough, they proposed amnesty for millions of illegal aliens. Kamala Harris might as well have sent a personal invitation to millions of migrants around the world, including some very violent and very bad people.
Yep.
Now, the chief of Border Patrol was appointed over a year ago, but border czar Kamala Harris hasn't spoken a single word to him, not once. What kind of a border czar is that?
Yeah. Well, you haven't been to the border. Well, I haven't been to Europe either. They think this is a joke. They think it's a joke. They think you're too stupid to understand what's going on. That's what the radical left does. They just are going to continue to lie to you and lie to you and lie to you. I will say this. J.D. Vance did another Mamaw story last night. And I'm convinced Mamaw is an angel. And I love these stories because every Mamaw story I hear, it just seems like she used to wake up and choose violence on a daily basis. and J.D. Vance had another great Mamaw story last night.
My life worked out because I had a strong grandmother, and I'll tell you a story. When I enlisted in the Marine Corps, I was 18 years old, and Mamaw was very proud of me, but this was back in 2003. She was a little frustrated that I was enlisted in the Marines in a time of war, so she didn't want me to do it. And when the recruiter came to our house to talk to her and explain to her what boot camp would look like, he put one foot on her porch, and she said, if you take another step, I'll blow that foot off. That's the kind of strong woman that made me who I am.
The Mamaw stories, I need more. Mamaw just woke up and chose violence on a pretty regular basis, it seems like, and I'm here for it. I need more Mamaw stories. On the way, we do need to talk about some of these poll numbers. It depends on which poll you look at. Some people have Trump in the lead. Other people have Harris in the lead. I do worry that they're inflating some of these Harris poll numbers. They're faking the momentum because they want it close enough to make shenanigans seem plausible. Just me? Maybe you feel the same way. We'll go over the poll numbers. We'll talk about what's happening behind the scenes. And OMG Media, James O'Keefe, has another expose. He got a DNC employee to admit Kamala Harris is weirdly unpopular. We'll cover all that and more. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
All right, we have 24 westbound in South Nashville closed because of an overturned vehicle. This is going to be between Bell Road and Haywood Lane. And we're waiting for the response to the assassination of two terrorist leaders in the Middle East. Details at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 1025. My name is Chris Hand. If you missed anything we've been talking about, whether it was the Trump AI song or Savannah Hernandez and her reporting at the Kamala Harris rally, all those videos are available on my Twitter, at Chris Hand on Air. And you should see the uncensored version of what the tolerant left responded to her when she posted that video. It's wild. Wild. Hey, remember when Trump declared no tax on tips, and that was like a great plan? Like, that's solid. He just announced another idea on True Social just a moment ago.
Oh?
Seniors should not pay tax on Social Security. Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Everybody can get behind that. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely, man. That's double taxation.
Yeah, you're paying taxes on the money that you were taxed on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seniors should not pay tax on Social Security. Did Trump just win the senior vote?
I think so.
He already had it, right?
He just won this senior's vote.
implying you were on the fence, Mr. Weaver. I think that's solid. Yeah, so that just came out. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be melting down over that some way, somehow.
I've always thought that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Yeah, well, Trump thinks it's ridiculous as well. Maybe that'll give him a bump in the poll numbers. Now, it depends on which polls you look at.
Yeah.
Right now. Some people are like, oh, the momentum is behind Harris. The Kamala-mentum. That's what they're calling it. Did you know that? The Kamala-mentum. It's steamrolling. Yeah. All right. Well, it depends on which poll you look at. So I'm going to look at the ones I like. That's what I'm going to do. The Harvard Harris poll has Trump leading Kamala Harris by 4. That's pretty cool. I think those are rookie numbers. I think we can get those numbers up. And I think that the more we expose Harris for her record, the better it's going to be. And the more we can let her talk, the better it's going to be. Kamala needs to be taken off script. That's the game plan behind the scenes at the RNC and the Trump campaign. Get Kamala off script because she's going to word salad something and it's going to be terrible. But in the Harvard Harris poll, they got Trump at 52, Harris at 48. When the option of unsure is included, Trump is 48, Harris is 45. So it depends on what polls you look at right now. It depends on which ones you look at. I've seen polls that say Harris is up by 1. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I buy that. It all depends on what you look at, though. And I do think maybe they're going to inflate some of these poll numbers to give them a little leeway for shenanigans of some sort. Nate Silver, formerly of 538, Nate Silver has his forecasted model, and he's saying that he gives Trump a 2 in 3 chance to win. It pulls together polls and other data to forecast the probabilities of which candidate will win in November. And with the new race now being Trump and Harris, there's an aggressive prediction of a likely Trump victory. Trump is forecast to have a 61.3% chance of winning, while Harris only has a 38.1% chance of winning. So that means Trump has more than a 3 in 5 shot at victory, while Harris has a less than 2 in 5 shot. So this is terrible news for Democrats who were really, really hoping that the Kamala-mentum would keep going and change the trajectory of the race. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. For what it's worth, as Silver points out, though, his forecast tracks very closely with prediction markets where people are betting actual real money on what they think the outcome will be. And he's basing that off Polymarket, which is where you can actually bet on what candidate you want to win. And Polymarket has Harris right around that same amount, 38% chance of winning. So Silver had turned his model off when Biden dropped out of the contest a little over a week ago to give it time to collect and refresh data on the new contest between Trump and Harris. In the previous model, Trump was crushing Biden. Biden had dropped well below a 30% shot of winning. So Harris does see some improvement on Biden's numbers, but Trump is still the clear favorite. And it's not just us that are saying it. It's actually people inside the DNC that are saying this. James O'Keefe of O'Keefe Media Group has a crazy expose, which we'll get to after Ken Weaver's newscast, where he has a DNC staffer on hidden camera admitting what we all know: Harris is wildly unpopular. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, again, we got a serious traffic issue. South Nashville, part of westbound 24 is shut down because of an overturned vehicle. This is going to be between Bell Road and Haywood Lane. Dangerous heat today with the potential for severe storms. It's believed lightning caused a house fire in Nolensville last night. 4 firefighters were injured, suffering burns while they were putting out flames in the attic of that home in the Nolan Mead area. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now in the Middle East, ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy looks at how tensions are rising in the region after the assassination of Hezbollah's military leader and Hamas's political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran.
Obviously, Hezbollah is going to feel like they have to respond to the killing of their senior leader. And now Iran will, because essentially Ismail Haniyeh was their guest to visit on the inauguration day of their new president. So something that almost looks like it was made to embarrass them from the Iranian perspective.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
Now, she's trying to come back. She got rid of the laugh. I noticed I haven't seen that crazy laugh that she got. She's crazy. That laugh, that's the laugh of a crazy person. But I noticed that she's not using that laugh anymore. Somebody convinced her, don't laugh, just don't laugh. Don't laugh under any circumstances because
I like laughter, but sometimes.
Not her laughter.
Not that laughter. It's 10:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. You can listen to us wherever you go, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or our own 99.7 WTN app. If you miss anything, we're podcasting it constantly on Apple and Spotify, so you can share it with your friends, all the things. Yeah, they got rid of the laugh. There wasn't much laughter at the rally in the great state of Georgia last night. We got a couple people waiting on the line. Want to get in on the conversation. If you want to get in on the conversation, 615-737-9986. Let's go to Richard real quick. You're up first, Richard. What's up, man?
Good morning, Chris. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Fine. A little history on Social Security. Roosevelt incorporated it as not mandatory, but then he changed it to mandatory to withdraw it. Then Johnson took the Social Security fund and combined it with the general fund, so he robbed all the money that had been accumulated. Then you come along and then Carter came along and he gave all the illegal immigrants in that group Social Security, whether they paid into it or not, if they were 65. Then you come on down to our famous Clinton, and he taxed it. So I was having all my salary taken out since I was a teenager all this time, and then when I finally get it, it gets taxed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that we should be looking for any way we can to help out our seniors in this economy. What's been done to people on fixed incomes because of the inflation crisis caused by the Biden-Harris administration is downright criminal. And I think that it needs to be changed. And I think that Trump promising to not have seniors pay taxes on Social Security is a huge step in the right direction.
Huge. It's more than I can tell you. I'm 81, so I would agree with that totally because it's frustrating to see paying taxes on it at the end of the year.
Well, and I think it's important to point out, has Kamala promised to do anything that's actually going to help people yet? You know, Trump is looking out for working class Americans and senior citizens, and he's literally making promises that are going to make the country better and give people back their money, cut taxes, no taxes on tips, no taxes on Social Security. What has Kamala Harris said that she's going to do that's going to make your life better if you vote for her?
Nothing.
Amen. I mean, honestly, like this shouldn't be like a hard thing to do. Like, I don't even think she's made a promise that she's lying about yet. She just hasn't made any promises.
Well, I agree. I just thought you'd appreciate the Social Security history because Trump making that statement, like you said, this drew in millions of retirees instantly.
Absolutely. It was a smooth decision. And I think that our seniors deserve it.
I appreciate the conversation.
Hey,
thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Call anytime, my man. Let's go to Steven in Paris. He wants to talk about the fake news in Kamala. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Chris. Man, you're right on it, man. Me and you think so much alike. You can see through all the illusion, all of the smoke and mirrors. You see it all too clear, just like me and a lot of us. We're, they made this massive shuffle after this stuff happened with Trump. And, now they're setting the deck without the people, even the people that support the Democratic Party didn't even get to vote and pick their own person. But I'm gonna stand up and just, these polls are fake. All right. Just like the news is fake, just like the white dudes for Kamala is fake with two people on there and all the stuff that you played yesterday, those guys, whatever they're talking about, all that crazy madness, they're not going to convince anybody that's in their right mind to sway their vote, to come over to their side. They're only talking to the messed up people that agree with what all that crazy radical stuff that they're for. So ultimately, what all this illusion and what all this stuff is about is buying into China. It's basically what it is, man. That's why all this is put in place. We know that the Obamas are the puppet masters, that I can see them pulling the strings behind the closed doors. Kamala's been the hand that's on the dagger that's stabbing all of us in the back. she's been the one that's been, carrying out their dirty deeds. But we really need to watch out for anybody that has anything invested in any kind of Chinese entities. Those are the ones that are going to, this is in their dream, in their eyes. If it happens the way they think it's going to happen and all of them are going to take power and everything's going to take place the way they say, they're just trying to make sure that they're going to be okay on the other end of all of that.
Yep.
That's really what it is. They're just buying in. They're selling out America. They're buying into all those other countries, using the slave labor and trying to get themselves comfortable for when change takes place.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Steve, and I appreciate the call. And listen, they just attack character, and they attack Trump as a convicted felon, and they go after J.D. Vance because of a cat lady comment, because they can't really do anything on the issues. They have nothing on the issues. In fact, CNN got a former classmate of J.D. Vance on the air to disparage him. This is how low they've sunk.
Can you share with us how you ended the friendship with him?
I mean, I never explicitly said we're not friends anymore. And I want to be clear, I still care about JD and Usha and their family. Deep down, part of me is hopeful that he'll snap out of it or something. I don't know.
Deep down, I hope he comes to his senses and stops caring about the country and the people that live in it, says this woman, Sophia Nelson, who is wearing a suit and has a very short haircut. She just looks like a classic leftist and a classic liberal. They brought this woman on TV to disparage Vance, not on the issues, but personally.
But that was incredibly hurtful, and I communicated that to him. I communicated that I was disappointed, that I was hurt, and that I was scared, because I remember what it's like to be a kid and think there's something wrong with me, and it's terribly scary. And I thought, I'm never going to be able to be my authentic self because it won't be safe, I won't be accepted, I won't be able to get a job. And
do you notice the common theme that they're using to manipulate their base? It's fear. It's fear. I would never get to be my authentic self. I would never get a job. All these things. But nothing on the issues. Nothing on the issues. It's wild to me that they would even have this person on CNN, but it's CNN. It's CNN. And then she goes after JD's wife as well, because why not, right?
What can you tell us about her? Do you think she believes in what her husband is currently saying?
Well, I don't think anyone knows what JD or Usha believe, because they have literally changed their principles on every imaginable issue. However, I was never as close with Usha as I was with JD. I will say that the woman that I knew was also incredibly kind and brilliant, a really hard worker, and someone I understood to be kind of a centrist technocrat, and leaning left of center, I would say. Someone who, it's come out publicly, was very upset and frightened by the events of January 6th, as was JD at the time. And so what I think is reflected in both of their changing of their principles on every single issue is that their core value is amassing money and power, not the integrity and kindness.
Okay. So let's just attack his characters as much as we can. As much as we can. Let's not debate on the issues. Let's not make promises for how we're going to make Americans' lives better. Let's not talk about how we can fix the country. Let's tell everybody the country's great and J.D. Vance is evil and his wife's core value is amassing money and power, which is funny. It's classic projection from the left. That's all they do is project. Which party do you think is more worried about money and amassing power? Yeah, I mean, I'll give you time to think. I know it's a tough one. It's tough. It's tough. Which one? Who could it be? Gary in Greenbrier, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Gary?
Good morning, Chris. Thanks for having me on again. First off, I'd like to
give a message to the technocrats. Those are communists, by the way.
Yep.
There's not going to be a VP pick. Who wants to be a VP to a brain salad person like Kamala Harris? She's toxic.
Honestly.
And yeah, she's honestly toxic. She makes no sense at all. You destroy your future political career. If it's going to be Shapiro that all of a sudden, let's garner the Jewish vote, totally isolate the Muslim vote.
Yeah, if it's Shapiro, I think that is. I don't think it's going to be Shapiro, and I think it's just because of what you said. He's Jewish, and unfortunately, the current left is so radical and so anti-Semitic that pick would throw them through a loop, and they would be back on the Abandon Harris movement.
That's exactly right. So the conundrum for them is, who can they shore up a word salad mouth to the point that they can get her over the finish line? They're going to have to somehow replace her. And, if Biden wasn't able to get up one morning because he dies of natural causes, of course, it can happen, whether it's officially done or not. Then you've got Hillary Clinton, you've got, once again, the Obama card, or that combination thereof. They're in a desperate mess.
No, I'm with you, Gary. Desperate mess is the best way that you can describe it. I appreciate the call. It is a desperate mess, and even people inside the DNC agree it's a desperate mess. James O'Keefe has a new expose with O'Keefe Media Group. He dropped it yesterday. I'll retweet it on my Twitter account at Chris Hand on Air. It's fascinating. He gets a Democrat National Committee manager on hidden camera, and even the people that work at the DNC. This is they're talking to a man who does present as a woman, but he, him pronouns. But even this employee says, I don't think Kamala could win. Even this person doesn't think Kamala has what it takes, which is just wild.
My job is reporting to the government how much the DNC raised and where it spent its money.
Saying that she doesn't have any accomplishments to speak of.
She's weirdly unpopular. She doesn't have any accomplishments to speak of because she's vice president.
Joyce DeSears revealed how the DNC gains donations and what tactics they use, including just telling donors what they want them to hear.
When I was doing finance, like fundraising, we just call it finance and politics, you kind of tell a donor what they want to hear.
Which is what?
Whatever they want to hear.
DeSears admits to the OMG citizen journalist American Swiper, you kind of tell a donor just what they want to hear.
You just put on a performance for them, a little show, right?
You just put on a performance for them, a little show, right?
So basically we're just feeding into their fantasy.
Yeah. Which, given that a rich person, they want their fantasy to be, fed into.
So we just take their money and we smile and nod our head, but we don't really take their opinions into our strategy.
100%.
Do the Democrats understand that even the leadership at the Democrat Party, even the people taking their money, don't care what they think? Do they understand that even people at the DNC don't think Kamala can win? Or are they going to look at this and just put their head in the sand and pretend it's not here?
So some donors are holding back on writing the checks because they think that the campaign's not doing well. Why would they think that?
I don't know. A lot of people think we should attack Trump more.
We should attack Trump more.
Yeah.
Do you feel like our strategy has always been just take their money and tell them what they want to hear?
Yeah, that's politics.
That's politics. If you want to see the entire video from James O'Keefe and O'Keefe Media Group, this is another fantastic expose that they did. I just retweeted it on my Twitter account at Chris Hand on Air. It's about 14 minutes long, well worth the watch. And this comes after the expose that O'Keefe Media Group did on the Act Blue scam. If you haven't seen that, I'll retweet it as well. The Virginia Attorney General is now investigating the Act Blue fundraising scam that's going on, where they have senior citizens donating thousands upon thousands of times in a year to the tunes of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And really, they're just using their name and their address to allegedly launder money. It's wild. James O'Keefe has been doing great work. I'm working on getting him on the show. I know a couple guys that work for him, and hopefully we can make that happen, because I'd love to hear it directly from James, what else they're working on, because this is only going to ramp up. This video is part one. The Act Blue stuff is going to blow up. I think that's going to be a major, major story as we head to November. And we'll be covering it for you right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Paul Winkler, Inc. You know Paul. I know Paul. I'm actually really excited. My wife is meeting me up here today. We're going to Paul's office. We're going to talk to Paul. We got some questions. Paul's going to bring the answers. Paul always has the answers. He's been doing this for a long time. You may know Paul from his investor coaching show. We run it every weekend here on WTN, Saturdays from 3 to 6. That's how I first met Paul, was listening to that show. And I learned a lot. So when I got my show here, I was like, yeah, dude, absolutely, I want to work with Paul. Introduce me to him, please. And when I met Paul, he's the same guy here on the radio. He's just smart, honest, legit. And for me, he can break things down in a way that even somebody like me can understand, which is huge. And he has all that knowledge, all that research, all that information, because he spent years studying under an economist who went on to win a Nobel Prize. So it was a no-brainer to work with Paul, and it's because his team hold themselves to the highest level of fiduciary status. Paul wants to make sure I tell you I get paid to do these commercials, which is an honest thing to do. He wants the transparency, and I like that. But I don't get paid to be a client. I'm a client because I trust these guys. I like that his team does nothing on commission. I like that they more focus on education. I like that I never, ever have to worry about what I'm doing with my money, because I have a team behind me that I completely 100% trust. That you should trust these guys too. Even if you already have another financial planner, I suggest you talk to Paul and his team and see what they could do for you. Set up a 15-minute phone call today. That's all you need, and you'll know everything you need to know from there. Go to paulwinkler.com, set up your phone call. That's paulwinkler.com.
big backup right now. 24 westbound. It's from Bell Road all the way back to Sam Ridley in Smyrna because of an overturned vehicle. You got 24 westbound closed there at Bell Road. 2 terrorist leaders assassinated. Iran vowing revenge. Deli meat recall expanded. The Fed's announcement on interest rates today. Details at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Man, 24.
I'm telling you, dude, it's the gauntlet.
It's always wild. Well, if you're stuck on 24, we got you covered with the latest news and information. Ken Weaver's got the newscast coming up. I do want to mention again, Donald Trump on True Social this morning. Seniors should not pay taxes on Social Security. Excellent position to take. This is just as good as the no taxes on tips, if not better. It will immediately impact millions of people. Millions. And if you're on a fixed income and you're dealing with the Biden-Harris regime's inflation, this is a huge difference maker. Huge difference maker. So I think it's safe to say Trump just won the senior vote. And I think it's also important to point out that while Trump and Vance are looking for how they can help the country, the Democrats are looking for how they can attack Donald Trump. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. We'll cover that and more on the way. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Find an alternative route because 24 westbound is shut down at Bell Road, south of Nashville. It is backed up all the way to Smyrna. That's because of an overturned vehicle there at Bell Road. 24 westbound shut down there at Bell Road. We could see a third straight day of severe weather in Middle Tennessee. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now in the Middle East, ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy looks at how tensions are rising in the region after the assassination of Hezbollah's military leader and Hamas's political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran.
It is clear, I think, from the Iranian perspective that they might try to do another missile and drone barrage, but it was essentially ineffective last time. 99% of them were shot down before they got there. Where Iran tends to be better at is using their proxy forces, which is Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis. They certainly will try to attack in Israel from the north and Lebanon, from Syria with their militias, and of course from the sea with the Houthis.
Boar's Head has recalled an additional 7 million pounds of deli meat after the CDC reported 2 people killed by listeria. The new Boar's Head recall includes 71 products under the Old Country brands. And the Fed wraps up its latest meeting today, plans to announce something about interest rates. Here's Daria Albinger.
The Fed's expected to end its latest meeting later today by leaving a key interest rate alone. But it's what Chair Jerome Powell is expected to say in his post-adjournment comments that economists are waiting to hear. Powell could announce that inflation's cooling enough toward the 2% target rate that the Fed could begin cutting interest rates as soon as September.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? I'm Chris Hand. If you've seen or heard anything and you want to see the videos to it, you maybe the Trump AI video or Savannah Hernandez filming people walking out of the Megan Thee Stallion concert as soon as Kamala Harris started speaking last night. It's all on my Twitter page, @ChrisHand on Air. I don't know if you've been following this lady on Twitter. I have. Susan Crabtree. Is anybody familiar with Susan Crabtree? She's a Real Clear Politics White House and national political correspondent with The Hill, Roll Call, Washington Examiner. She's awesome. She's awesome. And she's been really at the front of the Trump assassination attempt reporting. I've been trying to get her on for a minute, and we just linked up, and she's going to be joining the show at 11:35 to discuss the latest on her reporting. Over the last 24 hours, things have definitely ramped up, especially with Ronald Rowe and the testimony that we saw yesterday. So Susan Crabtree is going to be joining the show to give us her latest when it comes to the security lapses, the social media, all the things. Looking forward to that. I think she's a truth teller. I think she's really doing a heck of a job digging. So hype to talk to Susan Crabtree at 11:35. As we continue, there's a couple people waiting on the line. They want to check in, join the conversation. Brent in Spring Hill, you're next. What's up?
Hey, I enjoy your show, and thanks for taking my call. I just thinking to myself, I have never in any election cycle seen people publicly remove themselves from the consideration of vice president.
Yes.
I'm sure it happens behind the scenes, but it's always behind the scenes. Something is very strange. Something is afoot, I believe.
Well, the crazy part is, like, in 2024, 7 states are going to decide the presidency, right? Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, and North Carolina. And when you see the governor of North Carolina, Roy Cooper, back out, is he essentially saying, I'm looking at my internal polling and North Carolina's going Trump?
Why did Whitmer publicly back out?
Well, I think that she looks at what's happening in the Rust Belt, the dreaded blue wall, and they understand that these union guys, these blue collar workers, they're with Trump. They're with Trump.
But that would usually happen behind the scenes. They'd be like, thanks, but no thanks. And then say, oh, well, I just didn't get picked. I still support it.
I think it has something to do with the Tim Kaine effect, right? Tim Kaine was the VP pick for Hillary. And when they lost
for Virginia.
Yeah. That's his ceiling now. He's never going to go above where he is right now as senator. He's never going to be a VP pick again. He's never going to be a presidential pick. I don't think that was ever going to happen before the Hillary thing, but that's his ceiling. And I think a lot of these people look at it and realize, if I'm the VP on a losing Harris ticket, what does that do for my career moving forward? And especially with guys like Andy Beshear or Josh Shapiro, they have to be really thinking long term. Gavin Newsom, same thing. They're all looking towards 2028. And they don't want to be tied to this White House. They don't want to be tied to this administration at all.
No, I agree. But generally, don't they just tell them behind the scenes, like, nah, thanks, but no thanks? To come out publicly makes me think something strange is still going on.
It's real bad. That's how bad it is. They want to publicly distance themselves from Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I see a lot of polls that say, oh, Harris is up by 1 point. And I'm like, that's got to be garbage. That's a garbage poll. I don't believe it at all. And to your point, people are publicly disavowing themselves, essentially. You know? It's wild.
I agree.
It's wild. Hey, I appreciate your call, Brent.
Thanks.
Hey, call anytime, man. Let's go to Danny in Nashville. He's got a prediction. What's up, Danny?
Well, just, more of something I've noticed that Trump has started to do. Every time, the Democrats have a specific section of the American electorate that they really irritate, Trump finds a brilliant way to win them over. And notably, when you've got the entire left going to support and say there's mostly peaceful protests in D.C. when people are literally disavowing the right of Israel to exist and saying that we need to destroy the Jewish state, what does Trump do? He sits down with Netanyahu and talks about how not supporting Israel could lead to World War III.
Yep.
The Democrats with NAGBLU go out and they piss off the entire senior population by acting out in what I assume is tantamount to identity theft and money laundering with this entire donation scheme. And then, of course, 18 to 24-year-olds, Kamala's the first thing that comes out of this woman's mouth as the candidate or the presumed candidate for the Democrats is 18 to 24-year-olds are so stupid we have to put them in houses together so they don't die. Like, come on. Every single electorate that is being pushed away by the Democrats, Trump's like, oh, guess what? You know what 18 to 24-year-olds do? They wait tables in 10 bars. Guess what? We're not going to tax your tips. Old people who the Democrats are casting aside with the destruction of Medicare. Guess what? I'm not going to tax those retirement benefits anymore. It's brilliant. We're about to see Kamala just get mopped up, and I can't wait. That's the prediction.
It is brilliant, especially when you look at one of the narratives they've been pushing is Trump is going to ruin Social Security and Medicare. It's like, no, he's not going to tax it. Like how do you work around that talking point? How do you take the opposite side? It's so tribalist in politics right now. They can't agree with that. They're never going to come out and be like, that's a good idea. We're going to do it too.
If the only part of the American electorate that's actually dumb enough to support your craziest and most hardcore left ideas, the 18 to 24-year-old part of the electorate, the first thing you're going to do is say that they are, like, that's acknowledging, A, how idiotic your ideology is, and B, that the only people that are there to support it, you're admitting are stupid as well, and then doing so publicly and pushing them away. I've never seen a more clunky start to a candidacy for such an important office. And like the previous caller said, we've literally got qualified candidates saying, "Ooh, no thanks, I'm not going down with that ship."
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then on top of it all, Harris continues to divide people by race and gender with these white dudes for Harris, white women for Harris Zoom calls. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah, those white people were with Harris before Harris was Harris. They were with Biden before it was Biden, and Hillary before they were Hillary. There's dyed-in-the-wool idiots left and right on both sides of the aisle. So if you want to classify them as white dudes and white women for you, okay, cool. Just guess what Trump's main message was at the RNC, the most highly watched launch of a presidential campaign in American history. I'm not here to be the president for white people or black people. I'm here to be a president for all Americans.
Yep. Amen. Amen.
They just can't get out of their own way, brother.
No, you love to see it. You love to see it. I appreciate your call, Danny. Call anytime. You know, it's wild though, especially with the Zoom calls. Do you know what just kicked off a moment ago? There's people are learning from the Zoom call thing. So you had white dudes for Harris, white women for Harris. Well, a Zoom call just began called Blacks Against Harris. Honestly. And there's about 30,000 people on the Zoom call.
I think that stands much higher in numbers than what we've just experienced with the past two calls.
It's wild. I wasn't invited to that Zoom call. I think
that's understandable.
Americans Against Harris would have a few million people on a Zoom call. Susan in Columbia, what do you want to talk about?
This morning on Fox, a spokesman for the Catholic Coalition said that Kamala was the worst leftist candidate that ever was, and so they are not supporting Kamala, according to the spokesman.
How could anyone of faith support what the Democrats in general are doing right now?
I don't see how the Jews could even support her. I mean, really.
Honestly.
But anyway.
It's wild to watch, Susan, and I appreciate you sharing that story. There is a conservative faith group, Catholic Vote, and they said Harris is one of the most anti-Catholic politicians in the country. And the group launched a large campaign in swing states with heavy Catholic populations to bring awareness to her anti-Catholic views so voters can be aware in the upcoming election. I think just people of faith in general need to get together and stand together, especially Christians. You know, I was at Believer Summit over the weekend. 1 in 3 Christians vote. Like, we can argue about denomination a different day. I think that we can all agree the way to move forward as Christians is with a conservative candidate. It's with Donald Trump. And according to Fox News, Catholic Vote President Brian Birch, he told the outlet in an interview that Susan was talking about, Kamala represents the most vile anti-Catholic threat of any leading candidate for president in American history. She's a candidate of the hard left, and her record and words demonstrate a gross anti-Catholic bias and bigotry. Birch cited comments from Harris in 2018 where she questioned then federal judge nominee Brian Boucher and vilified his membership in the Knights of Columbus, which is a fraternal Catholic organization. Then Senator Harris said prior to questioning the judge that he was in an all-male society comprised primarily of Catholic men led by Mr. Carl Anderson. Harris then stated, "Were you aware that the Knights of Columbus opposed a woman's right to choose when you joined the organization?" Shocker. Catholics against abortion. Well, it may be a shocker for Kamala Harris because she hangs out with Catholics like Joe Biden who do the sign of the cross at abortion clinics, right? She said, do you agree with Mr. Carl Anderson that abortion is the killing of innocent on a massive scale? That was her line of questioning. Were you aware that the Knights of Columbus opposed marriage equality when you joined the organization? I'm pretty sure he was probably aware. The Knights of Columbus is a charitable organization, and it has helped to change the Pledge of Allegiance to have the words "under God" in the phrasing. The Knights of Columbus raised millions for the Special Olympics and Habitat for Humanity. They've donated to Sisters for Life, March for Life, Persecuted Christians Fund. They also donated to the Ukraine Solidarity Fund. And in a comment to Fox News, campaign spokesman James Singer responded to the accusation, saying that the VP is proud to serve with Joe Biden as the second Catholic president. Catholic voters are not defined by a single partisan organization, but by their values, communities, faith in each other, and love of our country. And Kamala Harris will fight every day to earn their vote. Is she earning your vote? Catholics, Christians, is she earning your vote? Honestly. This has been a big thing going on. I don't know if you've noticed, but Christians are really getting more politically involved. There's a Christian rapper by the name of D1, and I like D1. I like him a lot. I actually like a lot of Christian rappers. D1's great, and he's been calling out a lot of the gangster rap for glorifying violence and putting kids in these inner cities in bad situations and pushing them to do bad things, and he's got a great message. Well, he came out recently and said he supported Kamala Harris because Donald Trump is going to be a dictator, essentially. And Donald Trump is not a good guy. And the rest of the Christian rap community has descended upon him and say, you missed with that one. You're supporting the party that wants abortion up to birth on demand. You're supporting the party that has open borders, which has led to the worst human trafficking crisis in American history. That's what you support when you support Kamala Harris. How can Christians support the left right now? You're supporting a party that, if you're a Christian and you support Kamala Harris, you're supporting a party that believes children should be able to radically alter their bodies through surgery and sterilize themselves without parental consent. That's the party you support if you support Kamala Harris as a Christian. Doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. And you know, a lot of people are pointing that out. But the polls are showing Trump up in some areas. Other polls are showing Trump down by 1. But the data is there for Christians and conservatives. The data is clear that the DOJ has been weaponized against conservatives and Christians under the Biden-Harris administration. In fact, the Biden administration and their use of the FACE Act in just over 3 years has levied over a quarter of the law's total charges since it was introduced in 1870, most of which carried this novel sentence enhancement, the data also shows. So you're seeing instances under previous administrations where threatening to harm or kill a clinic employee carried less severe punishments. Under Biden's, however, elderly women who peacefully protest at an abortion clinic are facing way harsher consequences. And this is all after the Supreme Court's Roe v. Wade decision. They're going after conservatives. They're going after Christians. It's time to stand up. Time to stand up, make your voice heard, and talk to your neighbors, talk in church, get political, have these tough conversations. We can look at Kamala Harris and we can laugh and mock her, and that's it honestly, low-hanging fruit. low-hanging fruit, but we can't let up, and we can't think that this election is just going to be a slam dunk. We have to keep our foot on the gas. We have to. And it's going to take all of us to do it. It's 11:21 on Super Talk. I do want to make another note. Susan Crabtree of Real Clear Politics, she is going to be joining the show at 11:35 to break down the latest that we know and have learned about the assassination attempt into Donald Trump. Really looking forward to that interview happening at 11:35 right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Good news, drivers. Looks like that crash has been cleared. 24 westbound there at Bell Road, so things should be getting back to normal speed here shortly. And right now in the Middle East, we're waiting for the next shoe to drop after the assassination of two terrorist leaders. Details at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. 11:25 on Super Talk. It's Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. We're going to be talking with Susan Crabtree here in about 10 minutes. She is one of the White House correspondents for Real Clear Politics. She's been doing some fantastic reporting fantastic reporting on the Trump assassination attempt. She was the one that obtained the letter from the patriotic Secret Service member. It was the counter sniper, and she had the email from him saying, if we don't change something, then we're looking at another assassination attempt within 30 days. Within 30 days. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Bigly. Around the world, we've seen the Hamas political chief killed, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, obviously in mourning. Empty seats at the Olympics. Have you seen this? Empty seats. What? I wonder why. Row upon row of empty seats at the Paris Olympic Games. It's reportedly made organizers panic, prompting them to offer tourists tickets at fire sale prices. Oh, that's weird. You just insulted, 2.5 billion people on planet Earth, and now people don't want to go see your game. The Daily Mail reported this. Entry for the women's Japan versus Nigeria group stage game at the Stade de France on August 31st and Australia versus USA were both selling at just 15 euros. It's nothing. That's pennies. Before the start of the Olympics, we saw that wacky, wild Last Supper rendition that they did. It's disgusting. Slovakia has decided that they're boycotting the closing ceremony based on the opening ceremony. Yeah, I wish we could join. I wish we could join in the boycotts, the person cots, as the left like to say. I don't want to assume. You don't want to assume. And there are Ohio restaurants in the States. Ohio, 4 restaurants have announced that they will not televise any of the Olympics to their patrons after the insulting displays during the opening ceremonies in Paris on Friday. You got to love to see it, right? You love to see it. The restaurants are located in Columbus and Cleveland and owned by restaurateur Bobby George. He issued a joint statement on Tuesday announcing their decision to cancel the games. The 4 restaurants will not be showing any of them, and he put it on Twitter. So the betrayal of the Last Supper was handled with an irresponsible level of irreverence, insulting the Christian faith. We unapologetically uphold a standard where all religions, races, sexual orientations, national origins, disabilities, ages, and gender identities are respected. We will not tolerate any form of discrimination or desecration. Therefore, we will not be broadcasting the Olympic Games. Good for them. And they say we respect everybody, but that's what the left wants us to do. They want us to be tolerant of everyone except for Christians and, of course, white males. That's a no-no in today's current left. So it's crazy to see this happen, but it's happening. Also, did you hear that in Paris they were trying to serve athletes only vegan food? That's literally what they were trying to do. I'm happy to report, as Breitbart.com puts it, Paris has once again surrendered to foreign occupiers. They bought a bunch of eggs and meat, and they're not going to try and make everybody be vegan. That's cool. Still not watching the Olympics. Still not going to do it. They can insult an entire religion, 2.5 billion people on planet Earth. I'm not going back. Are you going back? I don't think anybody's going back. Hey, after the news with Ken Weaver, Susan Crabtree, the White House correspondent from Real Clear Politics, is going to be joining the show, giving us the latest, her take on what happened yesterday in the hearing with Ronald Rowe, the acting Secret Service director, giving us updates on the social media and what we've learned about Thomas Matthew Crooks. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories and good news, drivers. Looks like they have cleared that crash. 40 westbound, actually 24 westbound there at Bell Road. Things should be getting back to normal there shortly, but could be a while because that thing was backed up from Bell Road all the way to Smyrna. Forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Right now in the Middle East, ABC News, national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy looks at how Iran might respond to the assassination of Hezbollah's military leader and Hamas's political leader.
They certainly will try to attack in Israel from the north and Lebanon from Syria with their militias, and of course from the sea with the Houthis. They may also attack U.S. bases in both Syria and Iraq. So this is something that's not just a concern for Israel, but also the United States with our military assets in the region. And it's likely we're going to start posturing and pushing forces forward to deal with both of those situations.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Thank you, Ken. It's 11:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. We've had some rain. And if you're having waterproofing issues at your house, you dread the rain. Well, it's time to stop dreading it and time to talk to our friends at USS, United Structural Systems. I know the guys at USS, hardworking guys, proud of the work they do, and they're honest above all else. And after all the rain we're getting, if you're noticing standing water in your crawl space or those wet basement walls, cracks in your basement floors, those are huge red flags, and that's a way that your house is trying to tell you something. Your house is trying to tell you to call USS. Get this problem fixed today. They're your waterproofing experts, and they've been doing it since 1994. They're not going anywhere. They'll come in, look at your problems, find a custom solution for you, and they won't leave until the job is done and you're satisfied. And when they do leave, they're leaving a lifetime guarantee that will stay with the home. So even if you leave, the warranty doesn't. That's how confident they are in their work at USS. Give them a call today. They'll come through and fix it for you. 615-488-7855. 25,000 satisfied customers can't be wrong. I'm confident you're going to be number 25,001. Call USS today, 615-488-7855. Everything's online, too. USSTN.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
It's 11:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You know, in certain events like the assassination attempt, you're getting a lot of information thrown at you, like over and over and over. You're being bombarded. So you kind of find those voices that are really reporting accurately and fantastically. And one of those voices that I've found on Twitter is Real Clear Politics White House and national political correspondent Susan Crabtree, and she's gracious enough to join the show now. Thank you for coming on, Ms. Crabtree.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
What are your takeaways after yesterday with the testimony of the acting Secret Service Director, Ronald Rowe, in D.C.?
Oh, he was incredibly evasive, and it's just bizarre to me that he was chosen to be the acting director when he was Kimberly Cheadle's handpicked deputy director. She chose him to be her number two, and he was part and parcel of all of the decisions that led up to this point where we had an opportunity for a 20-year-old to shoot Donald Trump, the former President Donald Trump, and kill Corey Comparatari. I mean, it's just unbelievable to me. And the biggest takeaway that I found in the hearing was that the site agent, this is under questioning from Senator Josh Hawley, Missouri Republican, this lead site agent who's in charge of all of the security on planning for that particular day, that site agent is still on the job. The acting director, Rowe, answered his questions and said, well, she's still on protective detail. She hasn't been put on administrative leave, and she's participating in the investigations that the FBI is conducting, but she's still on protective detail. I mean,
it's really shocking. And some people are even calling Ronald Rowe, Director Rowe, a political operative, essentially, for the Democrat Party. On Twitter, and I don't know what your thoughts are on that, and how you said he got the job. He was appointed by Kim Cheadle. Do you know his background? Do you trust him with what he's saying up there, or do you feel like it's just more of the same?
Well, my sources are telling me that he doesn't have very much operative experience on the PPD. He spent 2 years on the PPD and wasn't assigned to a president. And then we know from my good friend Mike Davis over at the Article 3 Project that he keeps track of all these assignments on the Senate, because he used to work for the Senate as well for the Republicans. But Ron Rowe was attached to Judiciary Committee Chairman, then Judiciary Committee Chairman Pat Leahy's office. And he also worked for the Obama White House. So, yes, we do have a bit of politics at play here. And, you know, he can say that the special agents aren't political, but we know for a fact from my own reporting in 2017, I've been covering the Secret Service problems that have plagued the agency for years. Since 2012, I've been on this beat. And we know that in 2017, I broke a story when I was at the Washington Examiner saying that one of the senior agents who was in charge of the Denver field office, that's the main office in Colorado, had said on Facebook she did not want to take a bullet for Trump. And she did not go on administrative leave until the story posted. My story posted, and then all of a sudden I called the Secret Service, and yes, she's now been placed on administrative leave. They can say that they're not political, but there have been politics afoot in some of the decision making, and certainly when they're candid, like when they're posting on Facebook, some of them have been caught being very political.
Yeah, it's really shocking. And another shocking thing that your reporting has uncovered was an email written by a patriotic Secret Service counter-sniper who's just not going to be silenced, as you put it. Can you explain what was in that email and the events that happened after you released that email?
Yes, the email, I was shocked to get it because it was the hour before the hearing was going to start. So I just finished my edit from my previous piece and was looking forward to delving into the hearing. And I received this email, and it went out to in the entire uniform division of the Secret Service. The counter snipers are part of the uniform division. That's not the special agents, but they're more of the officers. And that stand post, you see them standing post at the White House, not the agents that are on the innermost circle of protecting the president. But very important people, the counter snipers. And this counter sniper is fed up. He basically accused the Secret Service of having a new motto called CYA. That all of the leadership needs to go, that they have been badly neglecting some of the holes in the Secret Service that these counter snipers have warned them about for years, and that they're just basically predicted that there would be another assassination attempt, and I hope he's not accurate, by November, because they have had so many glaring errors and they have problems in their security that are not being fixed and cannot be fixed. These are, this is a manpower issue. This is a decision-making at the leadership level issue. This is not the people that are on the ground executing. Those are not the people that were responsible for putting that AGR building outside the official perimeter. A supervisor walks through, a lead site agent makes those decisions. They put together a security plan. Then a supervisor, probably from the Pittsburgh field office, walks through the plan on the site and approves it all. So when Ron Rao says that he's going to put in more layers of supervision, well, there already are layers of supervision, sign off and vetting. So what's going to change? I didn't see much that he made these big proclamations, but it didn't amounted to not very much.
And I do some work with Turning Point USA, and Charlie Kirk made the point, and a lot of my friends that were there as well made the point over the weekend at Believers Summit in West Palm Beach, Florida, that the Secret Service presence felt more lackadaisical than we've ever seen before. Do you feel like any changes are actually being made, or are we just being paid lip service?
Well, he says there are resources that are being deployed, and I'm hearing from the special agents and officers that are telling me that all of a sudden they have all the resources they ever need, when just 2.5 weeks ago, before the Butler rally, that they were told to do more with less. They were constantly being told to do more with less. Okay, now the resources are flowing. They're buying laptops. I'm told they're taking their input now on drone procedures and technical aspects of the drones that they've been recommending for years. All of a sudden, they're all ears. So one would hope that this means it should translate to greater protection. But I will say it's like an aircraft carrier. It doesn't turn that quickly. It's not going to be immediate, because this is basically a manpower issue. And meanwhile, though, there's also bad leadership, because I'm hearing that as they were continued for years, been told to do more with less, the senior executive service positions, the senior most positions, were getting executive leadership bonuses to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars every year.
Of course. We're talking with Susan Crabtree of Real Clear Politics. She's been doing some fantastic reporting on the assassination attempt. What do we know about the shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, that we didn't know before? And what are we learning about his social media activity?
Yeah, that's very curious to me. When the FBI representative, the deputy director of body, appeared before the committee yesterday, he was casting him, Thomas Crooks, as sort of an anti-immigrant, sort of it had this feel of it was a right-winger. Yep. But then we had the head of Gab.com and come out and say, no, he posted on our accounts, and we've had some requests from the FBI and otherwise, and we usually don't share these, but we're going to because it's so important. That's not what we see on our Gab.com. We see a very pro-Biden, pro-Biden policies postings on Gab.com. So to me, that is in conflict, and there are people speculating that is on purpose by the FBI. All I know is what I saw yesterday and what the Gab.com, the head of Gab.com said on Twitter, and certainly they are in conflict, and we need to get to the bottom of that. It's bizarre to me that a 20-year-old without much social media presence, and we're just learning about it, was the one that was able to get these shots off of an unmanned roof. Set pretty close range to President Trump.
It's shocking. And before we go, I think that your reporting has been fantastic. And I want to know, as you move forward and you're doing your own investigations into this, what to you are the biggest unanswered questions that we have?
We need to know the name, and I have some names, but I need to confirm them, of the the site agent that was in charge of that perimeter. We still need to know if, for sure, that those local law enforcement officers were supposed to be on the roof. Ron Rao could not tell us that yesterday, which was very disconcerting. We still need to know. Basically, we need the after action plan. We need to know what they believe went wrong. There are still so many answers. Why did the perimeter? Who made that decision to put the AGR building outside of the perimeter? These are basic questions that we still need to know. And it's just like anything happens with when the Columbia disaster happened, when any national event that everybody's watching, especially having to do with security, occurs, we have daily briefings. Mm-hmm. The press has daily briefings so that we can answer any question. We can ask any question we want. Instead, what they're doing is we are presenting the information in our stories and on Twitter that our sources are telling us, and they are saying that's not accurate. In the first 48 hours, the Secret Service spokesman said, so my reporting directly was not accurate. Turns out it was definitely accurate, maybe semantics. There was some semantics at play, but certainly the fact that the political, and I understand that there are 13 people within the Secret Service ranks willing to talk about this and they're not been allowed to talk to the congressional committees yet, that there was denials for requests made by Trump's detail for more security over the course of 2 years. Who was responsible for those decisions? And is there a paper trail? I'm hearing there is. And these 13 people are not being allowed to speak to Congress about that. Who are these 15 people? What is the paper trail? Why aren't they being allowed to talk to Congress? Why aren't we having freewheeling press conferences? And I can tell you the answer is that they don't want the questions being asked. They don't want to have to answer these questions in real time, even though we can get to the truth quicker because there's culpability. They're protecting their friends in the Pittsburgh field office that were responsible for making these decisions. I'm hearing some of that kind of chatter, that Ron Rao is very good friends with some of the top agents in the Pittsburgh field office. And then certainly there is a paper trail leading to him, too, because before he was deputy director, he was involved in the chain of command for protective operations. So he knows why these decisions were made, and he was likely involved in many of them. And also, is it really threat-based? Or are we dealing with outmoded protocols that have to do with a former president, what the former president gets in terms of security versus the current president, which Trump broke the mold for because he has rallies attracting 50,000 participants.
Yep.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it seems.
All these questions.
It seems like we have way more questions than we've received answers.
Yeah, and they don't want to have these freewheeling press conferences, and they are not willing to fire their spokesman, Anthony Guglielmi, who has lied to me repeatedly and has lied to Washington Post. And that reporter believed him and then reported it 6 days later when she finally got confirmation from Capitol Hill. So he needs to go too. And there is a precedent for this. In 2014, the Secret Service director resigned, Julia Pearson, the first female Secret Service director. She resigned, and so did her spokesperson when they lied to reporters, and they lied to Jay Johnson, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary at the time, and to President Obama about what happened in a major security lab when President Obama was in an elevator with a man who had a gun who was not cleared to have that gun.
It's insane.
deja vu all over again.
It's insane. Well, I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Your reporting has been fantastic. I would love to have you on the show again as you learn more. Susan Crabtree of Real Clear Politics. You can find her on Twitter at Susan Crabtree. Ms. Crabtree, thank you so much for joining the show.
Yep. Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, anytime. It's 11:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:58 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Thanks again to Susan Crabtree for jumping into the show. Her reporting has been fantastic on the assassination attempt. Find her on Twitter at Susan Crabtree. Matt Murphy joining me in studio.
Hello.
What's up?
Hi, I was mugging for the camera.
I like it.
I was.
I like it.
I was going to be mad at you.
Why?
For, pushing me aside for some guest.
Yeah.
Then I found out who the guest was, and I can't be mad anymore.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's like
tip top.
Her reporting has been fantastic. So I just was like, let me get you on.
Well, and I can't understand, and you and I were talking about this a minute ago. I can't understand, and I'm not throwing Josh Hawley or anybody else under the bus.
We like Josh.
But why in the world we don't know who the decision maker was on July 13th, and no one is explaining why they're withholding that name.
Also, yeah, and you made the point off air, and I totally agree with you. Just say it. What you going to do?
Right, like Josh Hawley yesterday said, I know it, by the way, when he was interviewing this dude, Roe or whatever his name is. Well, just tell us who this person is. What are you protecting them from?
Susan Crabtree said that person is still not only not on administrative leave, but in active duty. She's still out there in the field.
That's insane.
Insane.
It's insanity.
And so when you see a counter sniper sending this email to all the people in the Secret Service and Susan Crabtree and saying, we're going to deal with this again within 30 days. It's like, yeah, if you don't make any changes, we probably will.
Yeah, that's right. And they had the breach in Nashville and they had the problems down in Florida. I mean, it's insanity that no one in the media seems to care about this 2 weeks out.
2 weeks out.
2 weeks out. Well, we're too busy talking about Megan Thee Stallion.
If it was Obama.
Or Biden even Biden. Maybe not so much.
He turns his head way too slow. It would have been a different news story. He moves way too slow. Murphy's in next. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.